Part 29. 10,000 times return. I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 281. Dingai University, Principal's Office. When Xiaoli was brought, King Zhejiang, Marquis Wenda and other school leaders were already waiting. Master Nephew. As soon as he entered the door, Xiaoli saw the king of Zhejiang and shouted excitedly. As for the other school leaders, she didn't know them either. The corner of Zhejiang King's mouth twitched. He knew it would be like this. He really didn't want to come to see this little girl unless he had to. However, the situation was serious and he couldn't care less about face. Xiaoli, I am Wendy Hao, the principal of Dingai Academy. There are some things we want to talk to you about, Wendy Hao said. Are you the principal? Xiaoli was still very polite and immediately called out, Hello principal. What a good boy. Marquis Wenda smiled. He looked at the innocent little carp and was sure that this little girl had broken through to the Tianhe realm. Nephew, principal, why did you come to see me? Surrounded by a group of strong men, Xiaoli still talked freely and was not nervous at all. He said with a smile, Is it because I have broken through the Tianhe realm? The school will give me a reward. That's right, Marquis Wenda smiled and said, Xiaoli is the #1 genius in our Dingai Academy, even more powerful than your mother back then. Because mother and teacher gave the best to Xiaoli. Xiaoli doesn't think that it's all her own fault for being able to break through so quickly. If her mother and teachers hadn't given her a lot, she wouldn't be so good. After hearing this, the Prince of Zhejiang and the school leaders felt even more mixed emotions. He is such a good boy who has such a talent but never takes pride in himself and understands the hard work and dedication of his elders. If everyone in the human race is like Xiaoli, why worry about Blue Star not being powerful? Pity. It's not clear whether the little carp belongs to Blue Star or not. Many leaders of the school carefully chatted with Xiaoli, coaxing and tricking him to delay the matter, waiting for notification from the official superiors. It was not King Wuan who took the lead in this matter. Even the assistant secretaries representing the demigods were involved. Their participation also represented the extreme importance the official attached to this matter. The officials first tried to contact Shuiya King Lin Suiying and Qinji Hao Suxian, but found that neither of them could be contacted and they did not know where they were. The official could only issue a notice to take Li Xiaoli to Longdu for in-depth inspection. After receiving the reply, the leader of Dingai Academy looked bitter. Did he take Xiaoli to Longdu? If she went there, this little girl might have to suffer. They still like this sensible little girl very much. But when it comes to the upper-level game, Xiaoli will most likely be involved. Xiaoli, do you want to go to Longdu? Marquis Wenda did not dare to disobey the orders from his superiors, so he could only try to ask, You haven't been there yet, have you? How about we take you to play? Going to Longdu? Xiaoli's eyes lit up, and she naturally wanted to go, but she still shook her head firmly, But, I can't go to Longdu now. Why? Because I have to wait for the teacher and mother to come back, Xiaoli explained. When mother and teacher come back, they will take me there. Marquis Wenda was stunned. How did you know that the teacher and mother were coming back? Even the authorities couldn't find any trace of Su Xian and Lin Suiying. Where did this little girl get the news? This is a secret. Xiaoli blinked his big eyes. I can't tell you. The king of Zhejiang and other feudal princes were quite frightened. It seems that Su Xian still has some backup plans. To be able to contact Li Xiaoli from a place so far away from the battlefield between the two worlds is really a monstrous means. This Qinji Hao, who claimed to break history and shock the past and the present, was more powerful than they imagined. He must have mastered some secret technique of spiritual communication. Marquis Wenda could only send a message to inform the superiors of the matter. Dragon Kingdom, the Supreme Court. At this time, the parties involved were also having a fierce dispute over Li Xiaoli. King Wuan sat in the main seat. Facing the secretaries and representatives of the powerful demigods, he did not give in at all, and his attitude was extremely strong. Everyone, I only have one opinion. If you want to deal with Li Zili, you have to wait for Shuiyu King and Qinjihao to come back. Li Zili is their daughter. They have the right to decide. There is no need for us to rush this moment. Faced with the power of King Wuan, the secretaries and representatives did not make concessions. They represented the positions of your majesty and had a great say. In my opinion, it would be best to resolve this matter neatly before Su Xian and Lin Suiying come back. Pull out that Li Zili's heart blood and test it and you will know. If she is a real human, then the authorities will apologize. If she is not a human, then she will be locked up or killed. If she is kept secretive, she may become a big trouble in the future. Even if there is only a slight risk, we cannot allow the seeds of disaster to take root and germinate. The speaker was the representative of the powerful demigod Yan Qingqing. Yan Wuqing is an absolute paranoid sect. He never believed in any foreign race, and even when he accepted help from the elves, he was the one who strongly opposed it. He believed that except for the human race itself, no life race would help them for no reason. This crown prince is a representative of extreme justice, and he cannot tolerate any sand in his eyes. Any behavior that is not conducive to the general trend of the Dragon Kingdom is an obstacle in his eyes. Back then, when the rebels were in rebellion, they threatened the life of a small town and asked the Dragon Kingdom to let one of the rebel kings leave safely. Unexpectedly, His Majesty completely disregarded the consequences and annihilated the rebel army with thunder and lightning, killing and injuring half of the people in the small town. This incident caused a sensation in the entire Blue Star Alliance, and Yan Wuqing was severely punished. Yan Wuqing didn't care. In his eyes, killing a rebel and becoming a king, and deterring all kinds of demons, is far more important than the life of a small town. This approach did make the rebels restrained a lot. There has never been a similar threat again. Therefore, Yan Wuqing's representative strongly opposed King Wuan's proposal. He believed that now was the best time to deal with it, otherwise when Su Xian and Lin Suiying came back, it would add a lot of trouble. You are too extreme. The representative of another demigod, His Majesty Long Yuan, said, you should know that there is a mysterious person behind King Shuiyu. If you anger King Shuiyu, this matter will not end so easily. The representative of Yan Wuqing sneered, everyone present knows that you have always stood on the side of King Shuiyu. I also admit that the person behind King Shuiyu did give us some help. But we must be on guard. Those who are hiding things should be included in the list of suspects. Only when we are strong ourselves can we be truly strong. The two argued. The other representatives also made brief speeches. The main argument was between King Wuan and Yan Wuqing's representative. No one expected that one day the Dragon Kingdom Supreme Court would argue endlessly over a small Tianhe realm. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 282. King Wuan and Yan Wuqing's secretary representative Yan Yuanqing argued endlessly. Both sides had supporters. In the end, under the strong request of King Wuan, the Supreme Court decided not to take blood tests on Li Zili for the time being, but just monitor him first. When the two arrived at Dingai King City, Zili had already returned to Shuiyu Palace under the coaxing and deception of the leaders of the school. As soon as he entered Dingai King City, Yan Yuanqing found something wrong. He was a powerful king after all. Although he could not compare with King Wuan, he had a clear perception of the power of the world. He could feel that the world power of Dingai King City was extremely strong. It was only stronger than Longdu City. How is it possible? Yan Yuanqing was shocked. About 5 years ago, he came to Dingai King City once. At that time, although Dingai King City was also very good, it was still significantly different from Longdu. After all, Longdu City was built by the government with countless efforts. It is known as the highest lighthouse on Blue Star and is a level stronger than any city in the world. But now he had a sense of absurdity that Dingai Wangcheng would surpass Longdu. King Wuan stood beside him with a smile on his face. As for why Dingai Wangcheng had become so powerful, he still knew some reasons. The source of all this was the sapling in Shuiyu Wangfu that could gather natural energy. Yan Yuanqing soon noticed it and looked far away, looking at Shuiyu Wangfu in the center of the city. Let's go. That's the goal of our trip. King Wuan smiled and turned to Shuiyu Wangfu. Yan Yuanqing followed behind, and his shock became stronger and stronger. What kind of amazing treasure was hidden in Shuiyu Wangfu? When he came to the gate of Shuiyu Wangfu, Yan Yuanqing only felt that there was a natural barrier surrounding it, protecting the entire Shuiyu Wangfu. If he broke in by force, he would definitely be targeted by the protective magic circle. Do you want to go in, King Wuan said with a smile, or should we find a place to slowly wait for Su Xian and Lin Suiying to come back? You should be thankful that His Majesty Yan Wuqing is not here, Yan Yuanqing said. If he came, I'm afraid he wouldn't have the patience to wait with you here. Indeed, King Wuan nodded. Among those old men, he has the worst temper. I hate him the most. The corner of Yan Yuanqing's mouth twitched. King Wuan was the only one who dared to confront a demigod like this. The two of them waited in Dingai King City until the 7th day. The news finally came from the battlefield between the two realms. Lin Suiying appeared and had already left the battlefield between the two realms. According to the current trend, she should have gone to Longdu. The official side immediately contacted Lin Suiying urgently. Xiao Li broke through the Tianhe realm. After receiving the news, Lin Suiying was shocked. She knew very well how much of a sensation this incident would cause in the officialdom. I'm afraid the entire officialdom has exploded. In fact, she didn't know much about Xiao Li. Back then, the senior entrusted Xiao Li, who was still a baby, to her. She has been treating Xiao Li as her own daughter and taking good care of her over the years. But she knew that Xiao Li's origin was extraordinary and would be exposed sooner or later, but she didn't expect that day to come so soon. As the 4 forbidden areas were unlocked one by one, Xiao Li's growth rate would only get faster and faster. The official wants to verify Xiao Li's identity. Thinking of this, Lin Suiying was a little worried. In her eyes, Xiao Li is a well-behaved daughter, but in the eyes of the official, it may not be the case. The official's perspective on things is different from that of individuals. They will look at this matter from the perspective of the entire country and the entire Blue Star. Xiao Li's shortcomings will be infinitely magnified. How should they deal with it then? Panic surged in her heart. I have to go back to the royal city as soon as possible. Lin Suiying became more and more worried and hurried to Longdu Academy. Before returning to the royal city, she had to hand over the broken necklace to the master craftsman. Su Xian was still trapped in the mysterious space of the necklace. With Su Xian's ability, as long as he can sense the outside world a little, he should be able to use the leap to get out. Not long after, she found the master craftsman. She was not very familiar with the master craftsman, but they had met several times. When he saw Lin Suiying, the master craftsman was quite surprised. Water Moon King. Even the master craftsman, who was oblivious to the outside world, was familiar with the deeds of the Water Moon King. Long time no see. I remember that when I came here last time, you were still a little girl in Tianhe realm. Suiying greets the master craftsman. Lin Suiying clasped her fists to greet him. You're welcome. Strictly speaking, the two of them now have similar status and position, and the master craftsman didn't want to take the position of senior, so he clasped his fists in return and said with a smile, why did King Shuiyu come here this time? Where is brother Su Xian? Lin Suiying smiled bitterly, I came here for my husband this time. As she said that, she took out the necklace of misty breath. He is inside this necklace. A necklace of mythical quality. The master craftsman was shocked and suddenly realized, You mean this necklace has a life space inside it? Yes. Lin Suiying nodded, the necklace belongs to my husband. For some reason, he is trapped in it. Please help repair it. The master craftsman put the necklace in his hand and looked at it carefully. Equipment of this quality is difficult to cause damage even if the king of the origin realm uses all his strength. What exactly did Su Xian and Lin Suiying experience? He was curious, but he didn't ask any more questions. He smiled and said, "Don't worry, just leave this matter to me. Speaking of which, I took advantage of Su Xian last time. Previously, Su Xian gave the evil dragon to him and asked him to refine a lot of materials for making mythical quality equipment. For a blacksmith, that was something that could last a long time. Great master craftsman, I have some materials here, and I will give them to you as a thank you gift. There are still some remains of the ice dragon. Although it is not as complete as the evil dragon, it is also a good material for making mythical quality equipment." Lin Suiying took out the remaining remains of the ice dragon. The moment the ice dragon's remains were released, the temperature of the entire room instantly dropped to freezing point. The great craftsman was suddenly startled. It is another corpse that exceeds the king level. Although it is not completely preserved, it is a rare treasure. It also has ice properties and is of high research value. What on earth are these two couples doing? There is an evil dragon in front and an ice dragon in the back. They are both such powerful creatures. How can this young couple hunt such powerful creatures with their strength? But he doesn't care about the origin either. Su Xian and Lin Suiying were his brothers and sisters-in-law, they were two little treasures. I still have something to do and I need to go back to the royal city first. Lin Suiying added, if my husband comes out, please ask the great master craftsman to tell him and let him return to Dinghaiwang city as soon as possible. Good. The master craftsman nodded, I will repair the necklace as soon as possible and rescue Su Xian. Thank you. Lin Suiying clasped her fists in thanks and left in a hurry. Xiao Li is always in my heart. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 283. Half a day later. Lin Suiying arrived at Dinghaiwang Cheng. Before she got off the spaceship, 3 figures appeared beside her. They were Miao Xian, the governor of Dinghaiwang Cheng, the king of Zhejiang, Bai Shat, the king of Wuhan, and Yan Yuanqing, the secretary representative of His Majesty Yan Wuking. When he saw Lin Suiying again, the king of Zhejiang didn't dare to look at her directly. If it weren't for official business, he would never want to see this woman. It was all because of Su Xian, that weirdo, who actually accepted his father as his apprentice. He turned his dream goddess directly into his grandmother. King Shuiyu, have you received all the official news? After greeting each other, Yan Yuanqing asked straight to the point. I know. Lin Suiying looked normal, without any emotion. Yan Yuanqing said, then what is your opinion? You should be clear about the decision of the official upper level. Testing the blood source factor is an inevitable step. This is not the official's malice towards you, but from the perspective of the whole dragon country, we must eliminate all potential risks. Okay. Lin Suiying also knew that the test of blood source factors was inevitable. If it was just a test, it would not cause any damage to Xiaoli's body. What she was afraid of was the test result. What if Xiaoli was really not a human? Lin Suiying was not sure in her heart. In the years she spent with Xiaoli day and night, she did not feel any breath of other races in Xiaoli, and even the slightest abnormal sign had never appeared. But Xiaoli's breakthrough speed was too fast, really not like a normal human, this is what she was worried about. Lin Suiying's answer made Yan Yuanqing stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Lin Suiying to agree so readily. He thought Lin Suiying would find an excuse to shirk in order to protect her daughter. But I have one condition. Before Yan Yuanqing could answer, Lin Suiying changed the subject again. No matter what the test results are, you can't hurt her. This is my bottom line. Yan Yuanqing narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice, what if she is a disaster? King Shuiyu, are you going to keep her by force? The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Lin Suiying did not give in at all, and asked, I would like to ask, what is your definition of a disaster? Has she ever done anything to let down the Dragon Kingdom? Yan Yuanqing was also hot-tempered. Not now does not mean not in the future. The official's eyes can't be limited to the present, and all kinds of things in the future must be taken into consideration. He directly quoted Yan Wuqing's original words, Your Majesty said that even if Li Zili did nothing wrong, as long as she herself was a threat, it would be her fault. If it is really as Your Majesty expected, even if she is not killed, she must be banned until it is confirmed that she is no threat. The two were full of momentum. If it weren't for the King of Wuhan and the King of Zhejiang, I'm afraid they would fight. One is a mother who is eager to protect her child. One is an absolute executor of justice. Neither wants to give in to the other. During the conversation, the four people were already close to the Shuiyu Palace. Standing in front of the door, Lin Suiying was extremely impatient. I said, no one can hurt my daughter, this is my bottom line, there is nothing to talk about. Yan Yuanqing said coldly, do you want His Majesty to come to the Shuiyu Palace in person? His Majesty is not so easy to talk to. No one can take my daughter away, I said. It's the same if Yan Wuqing comes. The other party brought out the backstage, and Lin Suiying was still strong. Yan Yuanqing was angry and his face was ashen, but he could do nothing about it. Women are sometimes so stubborn, especially when they are protecting their children, it is simply unreasonable. He only represents the position of His Majesty Yan Wuqing. Since the Shuiyu king did not agree, he had nothing to say, just go back and report it truthfully. After Yan Yuanqing left, King Wuhan comforted him, King Shuiyu, you don't have to worry too much. Yan Yuanqing only represents Yan Wuqing's personal position. There are still many people in the official upper echelons who support you. The times are no longer the same as before. Even if Zili is really not a human, as long as she has not done anything to let down the human race, it can be accepted. If the human race did not have the belief of embracing all rivers, it would have perished long ago. Not all His Majesty is as extreme as Yan Wuqing. When the time comes, you can cooperate with Zili to provide blood source factor testing so that the official will have a bottom line. I am here to testify, if the authorities want to hurt Zili, I will stand before you even if I risk my life. Okay. King Shuiyu nodded, I will provide Zili's blood source factor, and I will also ensure that Zili will not betray the human race. I only ask the authorities to let Zili grow up healthily. This is my last wish as a mother. Don't worry, the authorities will not have too much malice towards a child. King Wuhan smiled, then I will wait for the news, and you should also try to hand over Zili's blood source factor to the authorities as soon as possible. After that, King Wuhan and King Zhejiang also left. Standing at the door, Lin Suiying took a deep breath, her face eased a lot, and a gentle smile climbed onto her cheeks again. She walked outside the small courtyard. At this time, Zili was still chatting with the world sapling, and she didn't realize how much trouble she had caused in the high level of Dragon Country. Zili. Lin Suiying called softly. Hearing the gentle call, Zili was stunned at first, then suddenly turned his head and looked outside the small courtyard. Seeing his mother's figure, his eyes suddenly became red. Mom! She ran away, rushing into Lin Suiying's arms like a swallow, and the loneliness, sadness, and longing that had accumulated for so long could no longer be suppressed. She burst into tears. Only at this time, when she was in her mother's arms, was she really a child? Lin Suiying also had tears in her eyes. Thinking of Xiaoli's possible fate, she couldn't help but feel sad. From the time she held Xiaoli, who was still a baby, in her arms, she regarded this child as her own daughter. Xiaoli had long been her inseparable flesh and blood. "Mom, where is the teacher?" After the mother and daughter's deep affection, Xiaoli looked around and did not see Su Xian. He has something to do now, and will be back soon. Facing Xiaoli's quirky eyes, Lin Suiying blushed slightly. Of course, she could see that Xiaoli liked Su Xian very much, especially when Su Xian was at home. She stuck to him every day. She almost wrote the words "I want the teacher to be my father" on her face. "Mom." Xiaoli grinned, revealing 2 rows of white teeth, and looked up at Lin Suiying with a smile. "I heard from others that you kissed the teacher." Lin Suiying's cheeks flushed when her daughter said this. He, I was right, right." Xiaoli was even happier than Lin Suiying. "Don't worry, Mom. As your good daughter, I absolutely support you in pursuing your own happiness." Tisk tisk. Lin Suiying hugged her and laughed. It seems that Mom's little cotton-padded jacket is going to be taken away. The laughter of the mother and daughter echoed in the small courtyard. On the other side, the official high level discussed for a long time and finally decided on a plan for how to deal with Li Xiaoli. 10,000 times return. I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 284. Time is like running water. 7 days have passed in the blink of an eye. The results on the bloodborne factor of the little carp will be released today. Longdu Medical College. King Wuan, Yan Yuanqing, Wendy Hao, and others are all waiting for the test results. Not long after, the door to the examination room was opened. The sole Dr. Pei Xiu brought out a test scroll. She glanced at everyone and handed the scroll to King Wuan. "Brother Xiaobai, the test results are out. You can see for yourself." King Wuan was not in the mood to joke with Pei Xiu at the moment and activated the scroll in front of everyone. Information emerges. Bloodborne Factor Test Report. Name, Li Xiaoli. Age, 12 years old. Gender, female. Realm, elementary level of Tianhe realm. Family relations, father, unknown, mother, unknown, adoptive mother, Lin Suiying. Test results, human blood-derived factors accounted for 99.9%, unknown blood-derived factors accounted for 0.1%. Seeing this result, everyone was stunned. The purity of human blood-derived factors is 99.9%. Is this the case? According to common sense, if both parents are human, the purity of the bloodborne factors must be 100%. Even if the body is transplanted later, the bloodborne factors will not change. If one parent is not a human, the purity of the human blood factor will be reduced to about 50%. 99.9% is really puzzling. This is the first time I've seen her in this condition. Pei Xiudao, there is only one theoretical possibility that could lead to this happening to Li Xiaoli. Which one? Everyone is eager to know the final result. Pei Xiu rubbed her temples and sighed. That is because one of Xiaoli's biological parents is too powerful, causing that parent's bloodborne factor to take complete dominance. But that's only theoretically possible, not feasible in practice. Pei Xiu explained, if Xiaoli's biological mother is the dominant one, then his biological father is very weak and it is impossible for his mother to get pregnant. In the same way, if her biological father is the dominant one, her mother will also be unable to conceive. Because of the extreme imbalance in the intensity of bloodborne factors, physiological balance will also be broken. Yan Yuanqing was a little confused. So what exactly happened? Or is it only theoretically possible that it happened to Li Xiaoli's biological parents? Pei Xiu shook his head. No, things are more complicated than you think. She clicked on the holographic smart projection and displayed some simulation experiment results in front of everyone. The medical school has conducted many simulation experiments, and the research shows that even a strong demigod and an ordinary alien who has never practiced love and have children. The purity of the blood-derived factors of his children was completely dominated by the demigods, but the results showed that the blood-derived factors of ordinary aliens still accounted for at least 10%. Do you understand what I mean? Everyone looked at each other. The results completely exceeded everyone's expectations. Yan Yuanking's eyes widened. Dean Pei, do you mean that Xiaoli's biological parents may have exceeded our cognitive limits? Indeed. Pei Xiu nodded. If you want to achieve this situation with Xiaoli, unless one of her biological parents is really a god. But there has never been a true god in human history, so this matter is beyond our knowledge. King Wuan, Yan Yuanqing and other powerful men were all shocked beyond measure. A true god? A strong man beyond the boundaries of cognition? No one thought that Li Xiaoli's life experience would be so involved. Pei Xiu said seriously, I have handed over the test results to you. As for how to deal with Li Xiaoli, I advise you to discuss it before making any plans. To put it bluntly, in her situation, she should be considered a real human race, and the official should not have any discrimination against her. I think what the official should do is to cultivate her growth, rather than turning against her out of fear of some changes that have not yet happened. After saying that, Pei Xiu turned around and left, seemingly not liking the atmosphere of internal fighting among the officials. King Wuan and Yan Yuanqing no longer confront each other. The two immediately reported the news to the Supreme Court. At the same time, Lin Suiying, who was still accompanying Xiaoli in Dingai King City, also received the news. The moment she saw the test results, Lin Suiying was also shocked. 99.9% human blood factor. 0.1% of unknown blood-borne factors. Can't it be explained by blood origin theory? Lin Suiying's heart was beating fast. The more unknown something was, the more frightening it was. Xiaoli's situation was completely beyond her imagination. No one knows what measures the authorities will take. The Supreme Court of the Dragon Kingdom. A meeting about Li Xiaoli started again. At the long table, all the top executives gathered. Shui Yuan Lin Suiying was also invited to participate in this meeting. Everyone's expressions were solemn. Although Li Xiaoli was only in the Tianhe realm now, there were too many things involved behind him. It is very likely to become a turning point that affects the future situation. Everyone, you have all read the blood factor test report on Li Xiaoli. There are currently 3 solutions, please vote for them. The first option is to fully accept it. Make an investment in Li Xiaoli, fully help him grow, and gain unlimited possibilities for the future. This plan was proposed by King Wuan. He believes that the government should continue to carry forward the spirit of embracing all rivers and accept anything that is beneficial to us. We once trusted the elves, and they helped us through the most difficult and turbulent times. Besides, Li Xiaoli has 99.9% of human blood. What can we not trust? Those who agree with the first plan, please vote. The high-level representatives voted quickly. The second plan was proposed by His Majesty Yan Wuking, house arrest and observation. He believes that since everything that happened to Li Xiaoli is beyond cognition, the government should be cautious. If there is any major change, the government may not be able to control it in time, resulting in some irreparable losses. Based on Li Xiaoli's current performance, this situation is not impossible. Everyone continued to vote. The third plan is to set up a special team to conduct in-depth research on Li Xiaoli. If we can find some secrets of rapid breakthrough in Li Xiaoli, it will be a huge improvement for the entire Dragon Country and Blue Star's professional system. According to various data, the 0.1% blood source factor in Li Xiaoli is worth unlimited research. The Tianyang host proposed 3 plans. Lin Suiying, who was participating in the remote meeting, clenched her fists, her nails embedded in her flesh and blood. Of the three plans, the last two were not acceptable to her. Especially the third one, they actually wanted to use Xylee for research? Didn't those people think about what consequences would be caused if they failed? 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 285. The official voting results are finally out. The Sci-fi system performs anonymous statistics. The first plan was finally passed. Looking at the voting results sent to her by the Sci-fi system, Lin Suying was sweating. If the latter two plans were passed, she might do something extreme. But this result did not make her happy, but more worried. Because the first plan only won by a slight advantage, there are not a few people who support the second and third plans. In other words, there are still many people in the upper echelons who want to put Xylee under house arrest, or use him as an experimental subject for further research. In the face of the overall situation, some feelings seem too insignificant. At the same time, Longdu Forging Institute. The master craftsman finally repaired the mythical quality necklace Misty Breath, and the light flashed, and Su Xian turned into a stream of light and drilled out of the life space. Finally out. Su Xian stretched. In the life space, Xylee had already told him that Suying had returned to Dingai King City, and the result was similar to what Su Xian expected. The crisis of absolute permafrost was finally resolved. In this way, only the last of the 4 forbidden areas remained. Thank you, Master Craftsman. Su Xian clasped his fists to express his gratitude. You're welcome, brother. Since Su Xian handed the corpse of the evil dragon to the Master Craftsman last time, he has recognized Su Xian as a brother, and he is always honest and never puts on airs as a senior. Su Xian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. That, Master Craftsman, I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. I know. The Master Craftsman smiled and said, I have been studying mythical quality weapons recently. I think I can make a few with the bones of the evil dragon. A few days ago, King Shuiya gave me some ice dragon remains, which added a little hope. You two are my lucky stars. When I make the mythical weapons, I will ask you to share the dividends. Wait for your good news. The mythical quality equipment is indeed very strong. Su Xian is also looking forward to it. But now he is more eager to return to Dingai King City, because he just saw some information on the communicator that made him very unhappy. As he expected, something bad happened to Xylee. On the same night, Su Xian rushed to Dingai King City from Longdu. The moment he stepped into the King City, the rich and gentle world power rushed into his body. After the world tree took root, it had merged with the world of Dingai King City. The breath here made him feel at ease. Standing on this land, he seemed to be the master of the world, and he could mobilize infinite world power at will. He went to the palace quickly. In Shuiyu Palace, Lin Suying and Xylee both felt it. Su Xian is back. Teacher is back. The mother and daughter said in unison. They looked at the small courtyard at the same time and met Su Xian's eyes head-on. Teacher. Xylee quickly broke free from Lin Suying's arms and ran into Su Xian's arms. Lin Suying smiled and walked over briskly. Little Li, be good. Su Xian stroked Little Li's head, and his eyes met with Lin Suying's. After confirming their eyes, the two tacitly did not mention the official decision in front of Little Li. Teacher, I'm in Tianhe realm, look. Little Li, who didn't know much about the world, didn't have any sense of crisis in his heart. He just felt very happy about the breakthrough, and just wanted to improve quickly so that he could always be with his teacher and mother in the future. Really amazing. Su Xian praised. Although Little Li's improvement caused an uproar, he never felt that his disciple had done anything wrong, and improvement was a good thing. He would not suppress Little Li's improvement because of the official's fear. You two masters and apprentices can talk slowly, I'll go cook. Lin Suying chuckled on the side, put her hair up, and turned to the kitchen. Although she was already a strong person close to the top of the world, she still liked to cook and make food by herself, which was not only to satisfy her taste, but also a spiritual pursuit. In such an atmosphere, it was a happy thing. Xylee showed a sly smile and said jokingly, "Teacher, Mom is shy." Su Xian immediately understood that this little girl should have seen what happened between him and Su Ying a long time ago. No wonder. The biggest contributor to his being with Su Ying is Xylee. "Teacher, how long will you stay this time?" Xylee asked. "It should be for a while." Su Xian was a little dazed. He has been in this world for almost 2 years. These days, he has experienced too many things, some are difficult and some are warm and happy. I originally thought that after hunting the ice dragon of the absolute frozen soil, I would soon be able to go to the fourth forbidden area, the source of plague, but I didn't expect that Xylee would have such a change. Before the official attitude is confirmed, I am afraid that I can't go to the battlefield between the two worlds. Xylee, show your sledgehammer to the teacher. Su Xian thought of something. Here Xylee handed the sledgehammer to Su Xian, and said uncertainly, "Teacher, can you help me see if it has grown taller by itself?" "It seems to have grown taller." Su Xian glanced at it. When he first saw Xylee 2 years ago, the hammer was only about 1.6 meters long. Now it is almost 2 meters long. He can feel that the seal on the hammer is gradually being unlocked, and the quality of the hammer is also improving. Now it is a weapon comparable to legendary quality. Xylee was a little frustrated, pouting, "Teacher, why has the hammer grown taller, but I haven't grown taller yet?" Her wish is to grow up to be a beauty like her mother. Why are other students growing taller, but she can't? "Teacher, am I not growing taller?" "No," Su Xian touched his head, "Xylee, you may be late in development. When you grow up, you will definitely be prettier than your mother." He. Xylee didn't worry about such things, and forgot about it after a compliment. "By the way, I have another gift for you." Su Xian remembered that there was still a chance for enlightenment. Now Xylee is already at the initial stage of Tianhe realm, and she can improve again by using enlightenment. At this point, Xylee's growth has shown a rapid trend. Instead of hiding it, it is better to help it soar into the sky. "Xylee, calm down and concentrate." Su Xian gathered his mind, his breath changed, and he was completely unified with Xylee's breath. The system prompt sounded. "The enlightenment is ready, target, disciple Li Xylee." The gentle and vast power surged from Su Xian's palm and poured into Xylee's crown. The latter's realm was raised again. Tianhe realm initial stage, intermediate stage, advanced stage, peak stage. The enlightenment brought Xylee to the peak of Tianhe realm, and he was only one step away from condensing the domain and achieving the title of Marquis. It is unimaginable what kind of storm will be caused if Xylee breaks through the title of Marquis. The title of Marquis at the age of 12 is enough to leave behind any genius in the world from ancient times to the present. Even on Lowland Star, where blood is supreme, few tribes can reach such a height. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 10,000 times return. I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 286. The Holy Legion, Underground Base. A mysterious guest arrived. He shuttled through the crowd, but no one saw him. It was not until he walked into the Holy Hall that the Clown King noticed him and sat up in shock. "Who?" He looked around, but saw no one. Looking back, a figure covered in a grey aura was already sitting on his throne. The Clown King's hair stood on end and he retreated madly. "Ha ha ha." The grey figure laughed wildly, with a bit of disdain. "The Holy Legion is getting worse and worse now. Clown King, retreat. The Clown King wanted to say something, but the king's voice came from above the hall. I have something important to discuss with the distinguished guest. Yes. The Clown King was shocked to realize that this mysterious visitor was probably a demigod. Such a strong man came in person to discuss a shocking conspiracy with the king. He vaguely guessed something and bowed and left the room. Tong Kang. The mysterious visitor smiled and said, "Long time no see, I didn't expect that we would have the opportunity to cooperate again." The real name of the king is Tong Kang. Only a few demigods know this name. I knew you would come. Tong Kang also smiled. Some people are too stupid. The mysterious visitor said, "If they were a little more ruthless, where would this trouble come from? There would be no need for me to come here." Tong Kang smiled knowingly. "If everyone was as open-minded as you, the pattern of this world would have changed long ago, and they would understand it in the future. When the ideas of the old era are gone, it is the time when the real new era comes. The Holy Legion has always believed that the strong are respected. It is necessary to sacrifice the weak to help the strong reach the top. This was the case in the old era, and it should be the case in the new era where personal ability is supreme. The weak have no right to choose. When personal power reaches its peak, it is no longer bound by race. In other words, only when there is a peak existence in the race that sweeps everything can the entire race be better protected. In order to create this peak, any sacrifice at the bottom is worth it." The mysterious visitor threw a scroll to Tong Kang. "This is some analysis about Li Xiaoli's 0.1% unknown blood source factor. It is certain that she was able to break through so quickly because of this 0.1% blood source factor. 0.1% blood source factor can dominate the evolution of the body. You should know what secrets are contained in it. Maybe, our chance to become a god lies in it." Tong Kang laughed. "Aren't you afraid that there is a real god behind Li Xiaoli? At that time, you will not only die miserably, but also be infamous for thousands of years." The mysterious visitor also laughed. "If I am a coward, why would I come here? If there is a true god behind her, I will use my life to lead this true god out, and perhaps this war can be ended. Since that true god can combine with the human race, I think he is also on the side of the human race. The human race will still be worry-free by then. As for me, whether I am famous for thousands of years or infamous for thousands of years, I am already a handful of yellow earth. Why should I care about those things? As long as the human race wins, it's fine." Tong Kang clapped his hands and cheered. "This is why I like to cooperate with you. This is what those who accomplish great things should do. As long as you can reach the top, false reputation is useless. You'd better call someone else." The mysterious visitor said, "Now the official is paying attention to Li Xiaoli. It is very dangerous to break into Dingai King City. We must fight quickly and decisively." "Okay." Tong Kang agreed. The opportunity to become a god is too tempting. Even the demigods can't resist the temptation, and naturally there are other strong people willing to take risks. The rebels are not just the Holy Legion. There are also rebels in other countries on Blue Star. The two major forces that cooperated with him are all commanded by demigods. I have only one request for this operation." The mysterious visitor said, "If you can't catch Li Xiaoli, remember not to hurt her life. She is still a seed of hope. If you can't force her to grow, it's better to let her grow slowly than to destroy her." Tong Kang sneered, "I know, as long as Lulan Star doesn't provide me with more valuable exchanges, I won't do such a thankless job. Then the rest is up to you." The mysterious visitor didn't seem to want to stay any longer and turned away. The opportunity to become a god, even if the hope is slim, is worth fighting for. I have paid so much, isn't it just to wait for such an opportunity? Tong Kang's eyes were fiery. If he could really become a god, he could sweep the battlefield. At that time, there would be no rebels. The Holy Legion would be the orthodoxy of the human race and the savior hero who endured humiliation. History is written by the winner. Those who are infamous for thousands of years are always losers. Dingai Royal City, Shuiya Palace. Because of Xiaoli, Su Xian, and Lin Suiying have been staying in the royal city. These days, the life of the family of three is warm and happy. In the small courtyard, Su Xian and Lin Suiying sat opposite each other. When they carried Xiaoli on their backs, the two dared to show their worries. They both knew that even if the official voted to train Xiaoli to grow up safely, things would not be so easy to pass. The opportunity contained in Xiaoli is too great, even a demigod can't help but be tempted. In order to protect her daughter, Lin Suiying, as a mother, would rather speculate those seniors with the greatest malice than bet that everyone has no ulterior motives. Su Xian is the same. Many seniors in Longguo are trustworthy, but some people will inevitably do some extreme things for this. Fortunately, this is Dingai King City, and he has the confidence to face all crises. A few days later, Zhang Mu also came to visit Su Xian. He was very ashamed and almost cried. He had obviously worked very hard. He reached the Sun Realm in his sophomore year and could be among the geniuses in Dingai Academy. Unexpectedly, he was still surpassed by the second junior sister mercilessly. This was a big blow to Zhang Mu. "Master, am I too useless?" In the small courtyard, Zhang Mu was on pins and needles, thinking of the bold words he said to protect his junior brothers and sisters and maintain the honor of the master's sect, but now he has become the weakest one in the master's sect. "Don't worry." Su Xian smiled and said, "Isn't your master also a late bloomer? With your character, once you encounter an opportunity, you will definitely soar to the sky." Zhang Mu laughed dryly. "Why is it strange to use the words late bloomer to describe the master?" Su Xian patted Zhang Mu's shoulder. He admired this disciple very much. He rose from obscurity and made steady progress. Even if ordinary people transplanted the demon god body, they would probably be lost in the ultimate power. As long as the younger generation like Zhang Mu got the real opportunity, they would definitely be able to reach the top. Even if there was no great opportunity, their future achievements would not be too low. "Come with me." Su Xian felt that the time was right. It was time to transplant the other half of the demon god body to Zhang Mu. 10,000 times return. I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 287. Su Xian brought Zhang Mu to the training room. The hand of the divine mentor was activated, turning into a black crystal, and the devilish energy rose. Zhang Mu's eyes turned pure black. When facing the other half of the demon god body, even the devil heart was still difficult to reach the extreme power temptation. "Master, come. Disciple is ready to bear everything." Zhang Mu closed his eyes and concentrated his mind. Su Xian no longer hesitated, and the crystal spike pierced through Zhang Mu's spine, and the other half of the demon god body was finally implanted into Zhang Mu's body. The two halves of the unstable demon god body source merged. "Ah!" Zhang Mu screamed heartbreakingly. With his mentality, he couldn't bear it silently when facing such pain. The refusion of the two unstable demon god bodies was 100 times more painful than the last time. Su Xian walked out of the training room. He couldn't help Zhang Mu with this kind of thing. In order to become stronger and catch up with everyone, Zhang Mu suffered too much. It is precisely because he endured the pain that ordinary people could not endure that Zhang Mu was able to change from an ordinary person to an extraordinary person. Outside the training room, Yin Xiaoshuang leaned against the wall, covering her chest, and seemed to feel the pain. Fortunately, the two of them shared the same heart and veins, and it was better to bear it together than to be a lone wolf. Time flies. 7 days passed in the blink of an eye, and Zhang Mu's demon body still had not completed the final fusion. The training room was filled with screams for 7 days. These days, Su Xian went to the battlefield between the two worlds and took Xiaoqi Nicolin back to Dingai King City. Xiaoli had a lot of fun with his junior sister and the world tree. Lin Suiying occasionally went out to make some preparations for going to the source of the plague. 3 of the 4 forbidden areas have been passed, and the last one must be visited. If the things that the predecessor told her to do are completed as soon as possible, the truth of the incident can be exposed earlier. However, the change of the ice dragon made Lin Suiying more cautious. The source of the plague might be even more terrifying. During this period, Su Xian asked the master craftsman to help create a special eye mask of legendary quality to protect and nourish Xiao Qi's eyes. As the diseased eye of prophecy was cured, Xiao Qi's mental power became stronger and stronger. After contacting the world tree, the new world cognition increased, allowing Lin's star map to expand again, and now the 4th star map has been condensed. Lin, come here. Su Xian waved to Lin, who was playing with Xiaoli. He took out the eye mask full of technological atmosphere and put it on Lin. The cost of making this eye mask is not low. The main material is the skull of the ice dragon and the evil dragon, with 16 chaos stones inlaid on the front and back, and the coating is the essence of the world tree leaves, which is enough to be called the top of the legendary weapons. After wearing this eye mask, Su Xian no longer needs to manually change the eye cloth for Lin again and again. Just inject the water of the Forgotten River into it once, and the eye mask will automatically release the appropriate amount to start the nourishment mode. The high-tech eye mask worn on Lin's face, who has small cheeks, a thin body, and a well-behaved look, has a different kind of beauty. The combination of nature and technology looks very harmonious on the face of the elf Nicolin. Ding, you have given your disciple Nicolin a special legendary quality equipment. Congratulations on triggering a 5,000-fold critical strike return. You have obtained a mythical quality bracelet, the Guidance of the Morning Star. The Guidance of the Morning Star, mythical quality, one of the trance jewelry sets, can greatly increase your explosive power after wearing it, and comes with the effect of insight into weaknesses. You will get the Guidance of the Morning Star and be able to quickly find the enemy's weaknesses in battle. Evaluation: the morning star is the brightest star in the sky before dawn, the light in the darkness, and the symbol of hope in confusion. All confused people will be guided by the morning star and find the true direction. Hearing the system prompt, Su Xian was delighted. The 3-piece set of trance jewelry is finally complete. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the 3-piece set of the trance realm, clear spring flowing sound, mist breath, and guidance of the morning star. When the 3 pieces of jewelry are worn at the same time, you will get the trance realm set effect. Trance realm set effect: your speed, physical strength, and mental strength will be increased, and you will get the God blessing state. In the God blessing state, all your attacks will be accompanied by a trace of God's power. The duration is 5 minutes, and the cooldown time is 14 days. God's power. Su Xian was a little surprised. The individual effects of the 3 pieces of jewelry in the trance realm are already strong enough. I didn't expect that the effect of the trance realm set is even more powerful, and it can make any attack of itself accompanied by God's power. Even if it is just a little bit, it is enough to pose an effective threat to all the strong people he has come into contact with so far. Su Xian ranked all the potential enemies he has come into contact with in his mind. The first echelon is the gods who only exist in legends, but have left their power in the world. The strong people at this level should have some of the power of God. The second echelon is the top powerhouses in the abyss plane, who may not be weaker than the god envoy. The third echelon is the demigods of Blue Star and Lowland Star. The power of God can definitely pose a threat to this level. As for how big the threat is, Su Xian is not sure. You can only know after trying. As for the 4th echelon, which is the level of King Wuan, the Great Demon King and the Dead King Suzuka, Su Xian feels that he is now barely able to compete with these people. But if the other party also has a powerful trump card, it is still a bit uncertain. As for the future, there is nothing to be afraid of except his wife. Su Xian's mind moved, and the bracelet guidance of the morning star appeared on his wrist. Wearing the 3 sets at the same time, his perception of the world quickly became clear. In a mysterious feeling, the body became lighter and the inner strength became more solid. The 3 important combat elements of mental power, explosive power, and speed have been greatly enhanced. Whoosh! Su Xian gathered his strength and rushed to the sky above the royal city. The air exploded, and in a flash he arrived at a height of thousands of meters, much faster than before. He estimated that with his current strength and speed, even without the help of those demigod-level forbidden techniques, he would be qualified to fight head-on with the strong men of the first stage of the King's Boundary Fruit realm purely by relying on combat skills. If all means are used, he has the confidence to fight anyone below the demigod. 3 pieces of mythical quality equipment. A mythical quality weapon. Add half of the magic sword Apophis and the 1000 chance umbrella that fits perfectly and is nurtured by the body, and this is the arrogance of equipment crushing. I'm afraid that none of those demigods have more luxurious equipment. I can only say that our Lao Su has always only fought the most affluent battles. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 288. The 10th day. There was movement in the training room. The door was opened, and Zhang Mu dragged his tired body out, staggering as if he was about to fall at any time. Yin Xiaoshuang immediately rushed over, supported him, put Zhang Mu's arm on her shoulders, and asked with concern, "Mu Mu, how are you?" "I am fine." Zhang Mu smiled weakly, and with Yin Xiaoshuang's support, he wandered up to Su Xian, knelt down on his knees and said, "Master, the disciple succeeded." In the past 10 days, he had been struggling on the edge of life and death, and his consciousness had sunk into the endless demonic abyss several times. Fortunately, with the help of the Tongxin Tongmei technique, he was able to persevere. The complete demon body, possessed by a single thought, made Zhang Mu feel even more extreme power. The system prompt sounded in Su Xian's mind. "Ding, your disciple Zhang Mu has integrated a complete demon body. Congratulations on getting 8,000 times the critical hit return. Your prototype of Chaos Body has evolved. Chaos Body Prototype Evolution Degree, 42%. During this evolution, you gain the passive skill Energy Overload. Energy Overload, your skin has completed its transformation during the evolution process. It will absorb the excess natural power, law power, and world power during your cultivation, and form a shield on the body surface. This shield can block up to 1 attack by a strong demigod. When the body is attacked, the shield will be automatically consumed. The prototype of the Chaos Body can obtain a special skill every 10% of its evolution. Nowadays, the prototype of Chaos Body has evolved into 4 skills, namely re-engraving, space jump, perfect camouflage and energy overload. Unfortunately, evolution is too difficult. You must help your disciples transform in order to get a part of their evolution back. Not bad. Su Xian nodded and waved. "Zhang Mu, sit down and turn your back to me. I have another opportunity for you today." Zhang Mu's realm, which has integrated the complete demon body, has finally reached the peak of the Yaori realm. Su Xian simply helped the situation and sent the disciple to Tianhe with enlightenment. With Zhang Mu's foundation of hard training day and night, he can naturally grasp this improvement. Vast and gentle energy surged out from Su Xian's arms and merged into Zhang Mu's body. The sea of stars surged, the sun and moon rotated, and the Milky Way formed. Zhang Mu also finally reached the Tianhe realm and caught up with the level of the division's large army. Now among the several disciples, from the eldest to the 4th, they are all in the Tianhe realm. The 5th is a king, the 6th is a marquis, and the 7th is another one. Am I in heaven? Zhang Mu couldn't believe it. He came to Master's place for a trip and entered Fenghe River from Yaori realm. He had never experienced this pleasure of rapid improvement. Senior brother Mu doesn't have to feel inferior now, Xiao Li joked at the side. I hope so. Zhang Mu looked at the lovely second junior sister with faint eyes. He knew that with this improvement in his realm, he would soon be left behind by the second junior sister again. He would never be better than his junior sister through hard training alone. Master, I want to leave Blue Star and go to the battlefields of the two worlds to experience. Before coming here, Zhang Mu had the idea of leaving the ivory tower and going to the battlefield to experience. Now that he has reached the Tianhe realm, his heart is even more determined. According to the rules of Dingai Academy, as long as you reach the Tianhe realm, you can go to the battlefield of the two realms. After you get a certain amount of merit points, you can graduate early. Go if you want. Su Xian never restrained his disciples' thoughts. Even though the battlefield between the two realms was dangerous, as a human being, he always wanted to go there. Thank you, Master. Zhang Mu respectfully thanked him again. Xiaoshuang, what about you? Su Xian looked at Yin Xiaoshuang again. For this lively girl, he regarded her as half a disciple. Xiaoshuang also paid a lot for Zhang Mu to achieve what he has today. Come with him. Yin Xiaoshuang held Zhang Mu's arm, pursed her lips and smiled. My heart has been taken away by this guy, I can only choose to accompany him to the end of the world. That's fine. With Yin Xiaoshuang by Zhang Mu's side, Su Xian can feel more at ease. The master and apprentice chatted for a long time. It wasn't until night after dinner that Zhang Mu and Yin Xiaoshuang reluctantly said goodbye to Su Xian. They didn't know when they would see each other next time. Holy Legion, Underground Base. The mysterious visitor once again visited the sacred hall. Tong Kang, are you ready? In order to succeed in one fell swoop, the Holy Legion has made a lot of preparations these days, and the same goes for the mysterious visitor. He has a clear grasp of the official dynamic information. These days are the best time to take action. Don't worry. Tong Kang smiled and said, the three demigods take action together. The protective formation of Dingai King City cannot stop us. As long as we capture Li Xiaoli, we will retreat immediately. The only thing we have to worry about now is whether the officials will be angry and fight us to the death if our plan succeeds. The mysterious visitor said, don't worry, Lulan Star is watching with eager eyes. Officials don't dare to cause civil strife, otherwise you wouldn't be alive now. Know the same. Tong Kang said, Li Xiaoli's body contains the opportunity to become a god. The officials cannot just sit back and watch. What will happen if they are impulsive? The mysterious visitor sneered, everything has risks. The greater the opportunity, the greater the risk. How can it be so easy to become a god? As long as the opportunity is big enough, it's worth paying any price. I know. Tong Kang smiled, we are afraid of death. It is not easy to cultivate to this level. When we fight, you will still be the main attacker. We will not enter the formation, but only block the enemy and provide support from the outside. The mysterious visitor nodded, that's enough. As long as we block the protective formation, I can catch Li Xiaoli in no time. Tong Kang asked again, what if Qinji Ho Su Xian and Shui Yuang Lin Suiying use their lives to stop us? What will you do? Het. The mysterious visitor stood proudly, his tone full of disdain, if these two people grow up, they will most likely be no weaker than me in the future, but now they don't have the qualifications even if they use their lives to stop me. They grow too smoothly, and I need them to be tempered. Tong Kang smiled, then I wish you good luck. The mysterious visitor left. Behind Tong Kang, a blonde and blue-eyed woman walked out of the shadows. This person was the strongest person in the Eagle Country rebel camp, the Scarlet Female Lord. This guy is really interesting. The Scarlet Lady smiled and said, it's a good opportunity for us. Tong Kang's face was grim, the opportunity to become a god is indeed very tempting, but the price offered by Lulin's star is hard to refuse. Tomorrow they will not only capture Li Zili, but also kill Su Xian and Lin Suiying. Although Tong Kang tried to win over Su Xian, it did not affect his killing intention at all. In his mind, the only way to measure the value of things is the amount of benefits. Whether it is to capture Li Zili or kill Su Xian and Lin Suiying, it is not a loss for them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 10,000 times return, I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 289. Dingai Royal City, Shuiya Palace. In the small courtyard, Zili and Lin were playing with the world tree. Suddenly, Lin raised her head and pursed her lips. What's wrong, Lin? Although Lin was wearing a technological eye mask, Zili still felt that this obedient junior sister was looking at her. There is danger. Lin reached out her hand, and her small and thin palm grabbed Zili's wrist. Behind her, 4 star maps opened, and the stars evolved. One star was connected with Zili. The star quickly became gray, the starlight dim, and deathly silence emerged. What's the danger? Zili had no sense of crisis at all, and there was even a light flashing in his big eyes, concentrating on looking at the obedient elf junior sister in front of him. Having a junior sister who can tell fortunes, it's super cool. Teacher. Lin didn't know what the danger was, but her premonition was so strong that even her eyes were sore. This was a sign that the eye of prophecy sensed the coming of the crisis. Hearing the shout, Su Xian, who was relaxing with Lin Suiying in the mansion, rushed out. He looked at the star map behind Lin. The gray stars connected Zili's fate, and he was afraid that something bad would happen. Su Xian had been staying in the royal city because he was afraid that some people would have evil thoughts and target Zili. Now it seems that it is true, and those people can't hold back. You two go back to the room. Su Xian called out, and communicated with the world tree with his mind, letting it enter a state of combat readiness. Seeing the teacher's solemn expression, Zili and Lin went back to the room obediently. Little sapling, can the natural formation stop the demigod now? Su Xian asked uncertainly. No problem, master. The world sapling said, even if you are not here, the little master and I can resist the demigod together. If you are here, even if 3 demigods come, we can stop them. Taking root in the Shuiya Palace, the world tree has long assimilated this world and can easily mobilize the origin of the world. Su Xian also felt relieved. As expected, they are creatures that can reach the god level when they grow to their full form naturally. If it weren't for the world tree, the Dingai King city might not be able to protect them. Lin Suiying also walked out of the room, came to Su Xian, and asked softly, what's wrong? The storm is coming. Su Xian looked into the distance. If something happens later, you don't have to help me, protect Zili and Lin. Lin Suiying's face changed. You mean, they want to harm Zili? Su Xian nodded. This moment will always come. Since they are tempted, there is no reason for those people not to take action. From the moment the Supreme Court's voting results came out, the two knew that some people in the upper echelons were tempted and wanted to find an opportunity for a breakthrough from Zili. Can we stop it? Lin Suiying was very worried, and her beautiful face was full of sorrow. She originally wanted to ask the teacher for help, but the teacher was elusive, and she didn't know where the teacher was. The last time she met the teacher was several years ago. Don't worry, I'm here. Su Xian chuckled and held Lin Suiying's hand. In Dingai King City, it is my slaughterhouse. If a dragon comes, it will be beheaded, and if a tiger comes, it will be turned into a dog. If a god comes, he must lie down for me. A breeze blew. Lin Suiying tilted her head and looked at her husband's high-spirited appearance, and her heart was inexplicably at peace. In the past, she was the master of everything, but today she had to hide behind Su Xian and be a weak woman. Go back, don't let Xyli worry, Su Xian warned. You have to be careful too, if... Don't worry, Su Xian interrupted Lin Suying's words and grinned, I'm here, no accidents. Lin Suying didn't say anything more and turned to walk into the house. If Su Xian really couldn't win, she couldn't help much in this level of battle, and she could only accompany him. In this case, it was useless to talk to the authorities. The authorities will not send demigods to protect them. Even if they do, the opponents will take action on another day. All of this must be faced. At this time, a mysterious visitor arrived in the royal city. He strolled in the crowd and approached the Shuiyu palace at a very fast speed. In a few breaths, he was outside the palace. Is it finally here? When the man approached the Shuiyu palace, Su Xian, who was sitting in the small courtyard, also felt it. Silver light flashed, and the next moment he appeared outside the palace. The visitor was slightly stunned when he saw Su Xian. Although he was preparing to rob openly, how did Su Xian find him? When he deliberately hid, even the protective formation of Dingai Wangcheng could not detect it, unless he took the initiative to burst out the breath fluctuations. No. The mysterious visitor looked at Su Xian, and he unconsciously gave birth to a sense of urgency in his heart, which meant that Su Xian's strength had stimulated his instincts. How is it possible? When did Su Xian become so strong? Just you. Su Xian looked at the person who came. Have you thought about the consequences of arresting my disciple? If you want to be a thief, you must be prepared to be beaten to death. Boom. The mysterious visitor didn't waste any words and rushed into the palace, but was instantly bounced back by a green wave. His pupils shrank, and Su Xian disappeared from his sight. Above the sky, the knife slashed down like a stream of light, and the terrifying gravity pressure bound his body, and there was nowhere to hide. How can he be so strong? The mysterious visitor was completely confused. He felt as if he had entered the world dominated by the other party, and the world power he could mobilize was greatly weakened. On the other hand, Su Xian carried the power of heaven and earth in his every move. The fight between the two immediately alarmed the king of Zhejiang, who was sitting in the royal city. Two demigods. King Zhejiang was as if he was facing a great enemy, and immediately opened the city defense formation, but as soon as the formation was opened, two figures rushed out from the space crack, forcing him to deal with only these two figures and not care about the city. Not two, but four. King Zhejiang found that he was a little naive. He guessed that someone would act against Li Xili, but he never thought that so many demigods would be attracted. The protective formation of the royal city can suppress at most one demigod. Facing two demigods is already very difficult, and can only wait for support. No. After careful perception, King Zhejiang found that the two demigods in the city were hostile, which means that one of the four demigods came to protect Li Xili. Is it His Majesty Long Yuan? Or the one behind Lin Suying? The Sky Eye system could not figure out the situation. The place where the two fought was dim and nothing could be seen. It would be great if someone could help. The king of Zhejiang breathed a sigh of relief and tried his best to resist the two demigods outside the city. As long as they could hold off for a while, official support would arrive. Even if someone in the official wanted to harm Li Xili, they would not put it on the table. This kind of thing was a slap in the face of the official. The panic and city losses caused by the battle of demigods were immeasurable. No matter what happened afterwards, the official would definitely not give up on this matter. 10,000 times return. I am a mentor in the Novice Village. Author, Mingtong Shui. Chapter 290. Tong Kang, come and help me. The mysterious visitor was suppressed by Su Xian in a single encounter. He knew that things were not going well and immediately asked for help. He remembered that Tong Kang said that Su Xian had demonstrated similar means on Lulan Star, and could temporarily possess the power of the demigod realm with the help of external forces. He thought that method could only be used once, but he didn't expect Su Xian to be able to use it again. Moreover, he felt that the pressure Su Xian gave him this time was more terrifying than Tong Kang described, and he was suppressed by just one knife. What's going on? Tong Kang's voice sounded in the mysterious visitor's heart. The plan has changed. The mysterious visitor said anxiously, we seriously underestimated Su Xian's combat power. I don't know why he suddenly burst out with demigod-level power. Tong Kang couldn't believe it, he can still use that method. According to common sense, after a normal Feng Hao realm uses that method, the body will probably be directly disabled. Su Xian was alive and well after using it, so how could he use it repeatedly? Hold on, Tong Kang said, I'll come to help you right away. Have you found Li Xiali's location? It will take some time for him to rush into the formation. The mysterious visitor was completely suppressed by Su Xian and had almost no ability to resist. The world tree constantly mobilized the power of heaven and earth and poured it into Su Xian's body. 3 swords and 1 knife were suspended, all emitting endless pressure. Whoosh! He pointed forward. The orange gold streamer star knife slashed down. The mysterious visitor frantically formed seals with both hands and blocked the knife with difficulty. Go! Su Xian pointed again, and the extremely evil magic sword turned into a purple rainbow that penetrated the sky and slashed again. Crack! The defensive barrier condensed by the mysterious visitor was broken open and was on the verge of breaking. Come again! Su Xian had a blank expression and stretched out his third finger. A blue lotus bloomed between heaven and earth. The blue lotus that used to be soft and beautiful in Su Xian's hand carried the mighty power of heaven, suppressing from the sky, and the barrier was completely broken. How could it be? The mysterious visitor widened his eyes, and was about to lose his disguise and reveal his true form. Controlling 3 mythical weapons at the same time at will? Even a true demigod would find it difficult to do it, right? The pupils of the mysterious visitor shrank a little bit. He saw Su Xian stretched out his 4th finger. Behind him, the blood-red longsword made a long sound. All the weapons in the Dingai King city, whether swords, sticks, spears, hammers, or maces, were vibrating at this moment. The 1,000 machine sword and Su Xian, as well as the entire Dingai King city, merged into one. At this moment, it was not the return of all swords, but the return of all weapons. As Su Xian's life weapon, the 1,000 machine sword at this moment was not weaker than the mythical quality weapons, and was even stronger. Die! The 1,000 machine sword flew out. The mysterious visitor felt that the aura between heaven and earth was completely sealed. He could not find any way to survive. The blood-red longsword was like the final judgment on him. Puff! He could not bear the pressure, bent his knees, and fell to the ground. The disguise disappeared at this moment, revealing his original appearance. Su Xian frowned and looked over. He didn't know the man, but he was sure that it wasn't Yan Wuking who was determined to target Xiali. He looked at the man with murderous intent in his eyes. No matter who it was, if they dared to touch his disciples, they would have to be prepared to die. It didn't matter who it was. The mysterious visitor was weak and no longer as arrogant as when he came. Het. He knelt on the ground and laughed. Before coming here, he had never expected to lose so badly, to be crushed by Su Xian in an invincible manner, and to kneel down here with just 4 fingers. After losing, he felt relieved. He looked up at Su Xian who was walking towards him, and his eyes were full of spirit. He smiled and said, "Since you are so strong, why are you still hiding it? If we had known that you had such ability, why would we have bothered to catch Li Xiali?" The mysterious visitor looked up to the sky and howled, and suddenly realized. Wrong, all wrong. Li Xiali is not the hope of breaking the deadlock, but you Su Xian is. I underestimated him. Qinji Ho, what a Qinji Ho, ha ha ha. Su Xian looked down at him, have you finished? I'll send you off if you're done. In Su Xian's eyes, the mysterious visitor must die. No matter if this person took the risk for the great cause of the Dragon Kingdom or bore the crime for all living beings in the world, as long as he had his heart set on Xyli, there was no reason to let him live. Take this opportunity to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. Boom. There was a movement in the sky in the distance, and Tong Kang finally broke into the formation and flew towards the side quickly. The world tree blinded all external perceptions, so that he didn't know that the mysterious visitor had been defeated. He didn't expect that the mysterious visitor would be killed by Su Xian in 4 moves. Rats in the underground, your disgusting figures are everywhere. Feeling the arrival of the king, Su Xian's face showed a look of disgust. Sure enough, no matter what happened, the rebels were involved. He looked at the king who was coming, and spread his 5 fingers. Whoosh! 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 The flowing star meteoric blade, the demon sword Apophis, the water moon sword, and the 1000 machine sword turned into 4 long rainbows and rushed into the sky. Meteor, evil shadow, blue lotus, blood rainbow. Strange visions appeared simultaneously. Tong Kang's forward figure stopped abruptly, and he looked at the water moon palace in horror, which was in chaos, and dared not take another step forward. He could not see anything. He only felt that there was a pair of eyes staring at him in the vast chaos. He tried to call the mysterious visitor, but got no response. He became more and more panicked, but he didn't dare to believe his inner guess. Su Xian fought with the mysterious visitor for less than a minute. Did he lose? It's ridiculous. He didn't want to admit it. He would rather believe that Su Xian used some special method to trap the mysterious visitor in an isolated space. Buzz. In an instant, the sound of swords rang in his heart. 3 swords and a knife appeared above the sky. 4 mythical weapons. Tong Kang was horrified, panic broke out in his heart. Without any hesitation, he burned his life and fled outside the royal city. 4 streams of light chased him, faster than him. 1 knife, endless pressure, meteorites fell from the sky. Tong Kang's speed slowed down greatly. Another sword, extremely evil, the edge of destruction flashed, and the defense was instantly broken. The 3rd sword, blue lotus, grew on his left hand, the sound of mirror breaking rang, and his left hand exploded. The 4th sword, the blood and chi all over his body rushed out crazily. Blood flashed. Puff. Half of Tong Kang's head was chopped off, but he didn't dare to resist at all. He continued to burn his life to escape. The Shuiya palace might be guarded by the strongest. Could it be the one behind Shuiya King? Or is there a protector behind Su Xian that no one knows about? He didn't want to believe that Su Xian could be so strong. Fortunately, he finally escaped and sent a message to the Scarlet Female Lord. Go quickly, he is dead. There is an ambush of the strongest in the royal city, we all miscalculated. The Scarlet Female Lord was also frightened. How could Tong Kang be beaten into such a miserable state just after entering the city? The Zhejiang king who was guarding the royal city was even more shocked. He only felt the majestic power of heaven, and then saw that the king of the Holy Legion had his left hand and half of his head chopped off. Was the person who attacked really Su Xian?